I have a question for you. What's the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning? So some people say, I grab my phone, I read the news, catch up on social media, and I'll just take it from there. And eat some breakfast, watch some TV. That's an average morning, and it's very different from how highly successful or ambitious and productive people spend their morning. And you've probably heard of, or actually, it's all over the place these past few years, morning rituals, and it gets a lot of attention. And people even make whole courses on it. And you know, I get it. It is a very effective tool because there's a lot of psychology involved. So one of the key things when it comes to morning rituals, what it does, it primes you. That's the psychological effect of having a morning ritual, and it is very beneficial. And that's why it is here in the procrastination module. It is a key technique that you can use to improve your focus throughout the day. And if you do this every single day, you will live a very focused life. So when you wake up in the morning um, and you start consuming information, random information, all that you do is you create a state of often fear and anxiety and uncertainty. And even though you might not feel it directly, it will be there indirectly, just lingering around. And that is not a beneficial state. If we want to live a productive life, it is very important to have a powerful and active state of mind instead of a passive state of mind. How do we do this? Well, by creating a morning ritual. So I can give you a few ideas, and I will give you my ideas in this video, the things that you can do. But like everything that we talk about in this course, it's about creating your own morning ritual that works really well for you. So one of the things that I do when I wake up in the morning, immediately I think about the things that I'm grateful for. And I do that immediately when I open my eyes, when I'm still in bed. And I think about little things, like that I can go to the gym every single day. That to me that's a given. To most of you probably as well, but that's not a given to everybody. Um, the fact that you can see the sun when you wake up in the morning. Those small things we take for granted, or even when it rains. It's easy to say, I'm so happy to be alive. I'm happy to be healthy. It's good. Think about those things as well, but also think about the little things that matter to you and that give your life, you know, the flavor. And those things, when we start thinking about those things, we say, oh, I'm really grateful. And that puts us in a great state of mind to start with. What I do after that, I immediately start reading. I take my book to the toilet or wherever I go, I just sit. Sometimes I just keep laying in bed. I keep on reading what I read the evening before, and I always read, biographies, philosophy, things that excite me. Sometimes novels that I'm really excited about that have inspiration about life, and especially successful, powerful, ambitious people that live their life a certain way. That kind of information can get you, motivated as well. And some people say, well, motivation is not lasting. Well, nothing lasts in life, so don't think about that kind of stuff. So those things are really important. Gratitude, having a focus of like what other people do, how they live their life productively, that inspires us to do that as well. Now, the third thing that I do, and it is absolutely critical, is I go through my day. Now, in my case, I set my priorities in the evening for the next day. So every evening I sit down and think about what are the 3 to 5 things that I have to finish the next day. And I will talk about it in the productivity module more specifically how I do this, because this is a key productivity skill. But because now we're talking about the morning ritual, and this is something that you can already start applying, I'm already mentioning that's what I'm going to do. So in the morning, I just go through my list of priorities again, and I look at my day, and I think about when I want to do those things. And that is very important because I will know what my day will look like, roughly. Often, sometimes things get in between tasks and emergencies happen, but that's okay. As long as I know the kind of things that I have to finish that day, that puts me in a good state of mind. Now, these are three things that I do. Things that I don't do is that I don't read the news or social media, or I don't open my email, because that puts me in a state of mind of consumption, and that's not what I want to do. So I don't do those things. And the fourth thing I do immediately before I even have breakfast is I start working on things that are important to me. I either write, make notes. So I start creating, especially in the morning, and that puts you in a great, it gives you a great feeling that you own your life, and that when you set your priorities, you know where you're going. These things empower you to take charge of your life. So that's why I wrote this down here, is like stop consuming and start creating. And I want to talk a little bit more about this mindset, because I initially had it in another lesson, and then I thought about how can I make this more powerful, this morning ritual, right? So what is the overall goal? It's to prime us. Well, how should we prime ourselves? Well, we should, instead of a consumer or a passive, this is a passive state of mind, we have to go to an active state of mind. And this is critical. This is a very important lesson of this course. We have to go from consumption to creation. Now, I don't necessarily mean, because when I often talk about this, people say, oh, I don't write books or I don't create content, I'm not a creator. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that you are a creator of life. A, a consumer of life goes with the flow. A creator of life sets the flow, sets the mood, creates something out of nothing. So that means you create relationships, you create a mood, you create events, you create things that are important and that have an impact on you and other people. That is what I mean by creating. I can give you a clear example. If you go to work and everybody is down or whatever, do you just go with the flow, or do you instead create your own reality? And when you start doing that, people will join you as well, because even though most people are pessimistic and negative, we do enjoy positivity, and that is very contagious. So I want you to put yourself every single morning, think of the morning ritual. How can you put yourself in a active state of mind, that you say, okay, every single morning I'm going to prime myself to think of creation. I'm going to create my life. I'm going to shape my life, and that means I will create a good working environment for myself, for my relationships, for my professional relationships, personal relationships. And that is very important to realize for us if you want to live a truly productive life, if we want to stop procrastinating, if you want to stop feeling frustrated, we have to start creating value, products, relationships, and we have to help, the company that we work for, or our own company, because we never do it alone, right? So that is very important to realize that yes, this is about creating a morning ritual, a set of steps, set of activities, because that is the action for this lesson as well. The exercise. Create your own morning ritual. Just write down in a list, make an order, what you're going to do from the moment you wake up. And that can be the first 30 minutes of your day, can be the first 60 minutes of your day. You decide. But the goal is this. The goal should be, this is how you measure it. Does your morning ritual put you in a state of mind of creation and ownership? That is the goal. So, morning rituals are great only if they have a purpose. It's not just I wake up, I have to do this and this and that. That's not the way it works. In Procrastinate Zero, we always talk about the underlying goal, the underlying purpose. We question everything, and that is the thinking process behind this. And if you start doing this, I promise you, this can change your life. Um, I've talked about the tools that many of my students have said, this one thing changed my life. Probably this is the number one thing that I've heard the most. So apply it and let me know how it goes, because I'm always interested in hearing your stories. Email me, put it in the comments. Just let me know, so other people can also learn from that, because it is a very powerful thing. Once we start creating relationships, when we start creating value, that is how we shape our life, and that's how we make life better as well. And that is what, by the end of the day, matters the most.